and welcome back to another live stream on the internet. Today I'm going to be placing lots of torches in Minecraft. In fact, I'm going to be placing dozens and dozens, hundreds and hundreds in fact, of Minecraft torches, over 1,000, into this forest over here. It's proven to be a little bit challenging, but I'll try my best right now. And I guess we should start because there's always someone who's like, because you mentioned dislikes yesterday, you gotta do it now. So I'll just mention real fast to the 5 of you who dislike this video. It's actually important, not for like my sake, but for your sake, that you get in touch, because one of the symptoms of COVID is lack of taste. So clearly you need to get yourself tested. Oh, I got you good. Okay, hello, my BX cat. Let's go and let's place some torches in our forest over there. Because today, my intention is torches, torches, torches. I make them out of hay. Torches, torches, torches. With torches, I should play. Yeah, we're going to be having a lot of fun today, and by fun I mean torch placing. It's going to be an absolute delight for stream. So no, I've been working on this big server project for a while now. I want to light up the entire world in Minecraft, which I know seems really dumb on the surface, and if you dive any deeper into it, it also seems very dumb. But the you know, the truth of the matter is like, okay, it's an important thing to do. It's an important thing to be done, and it's gonna have some cool results. Like, you know, at first I was just like, you know, at first the overwhelming number of torches made me think, I don't know about this one so much. But as I've gone through this more and more, the benefits are becoming clearer and clearer, and I'm starting to really, really like the angle that we're going at. So, yeah, I will say if you ever want to attempt something like this, obviously, it's not easy by any definition, but it is rewarding, or at the very least, you get to see things being lit up. You know, people are always saying that being lit is good, and clearly they're referring to Minecraft torches. So if you want to be lit, you know how you do that? You do that by placing you some Minecraft torches all across your Minecraft world. So, you, wow, you were hardly late. Glad you were, so I could get here on time. It is this funny thing where, like, now being only 5 minutes late is, like, considered early. But again, that's, like, I think with anything, the schedule for a thing should be based on how it actually works rather than the stated something. You know how, like, there are friends who you have to tell, like, the time of something is a little early, and then there are friends you have to tell the time of something is a bit late? Because there's always that one guy who's like, oh, if something starts at 6, I guess I'd better get there at 5:30 just to, you know, just in case, you know. You never know. You know, what I might miss if I'm not there half an hour early. Because everyone has, like, it's funny, time is like a universal concept, or by that I mean humans invented it. It obviously doesn't exist without humans. It blew my mind when I first realized that time was a human invention. Like, it seems so real, and it's real in the sense that it's one of the fictions humans tell each other. But it also has, like, no bearing on the universe. Like, there's no truth to time, you know? It's a big thing. So what's the best way to space out torches? This isn't the best way, but the method I've been using is 6 blocks apart in both directions. You can do this placing just diagonally, and most people will be successful that way. But the reason I'm doing it in both ways is just because when we go up and down heights, that's a thing. And also, it's for when we, like, it looks much cleaner if you go with a grid system. So if you want to use fewer torches, you can go up 7. If you want to be even more stringent, guarantee there's literally nothing, you can go up 5. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to be more efficient in terms of space and lighting. You just got to keep in mind the situation that you're kind of playing to, I guess. As really with anything, right? Like, keep in mind the situation of a thing is going to change, and if you keep that in mind, you'll have a good time. If you don't keep it in mind, you will have a bad time. Who would have figured? So, yeah, oh, we've actually already got a torch right there, and then already got a torch over there as well. You can see how when it goes really vertical, that's when you have some dark spots. The dark spots might be fine. You don't really know until you place it, but it's a whole problem that you got to keep in mind. Did you hear about the guy who walked all the way to the Farlands yesterday? It says Ezra Morgan. Oh yeah, I totally did. I was shocked actually. I was really impressed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. With that, like, seeing someone, like, it was one of the, like, you know, okay, so the world record, you know, Guinness World Record, which is dumb because we've covered them up before on this channel, like, why that doesn't really mean record so much. But, you know, the world record for, like, that is set by someone who's done, like, 4 million blocks. And this guy started 5 months ago just walking to the Farlands and recording every minute of it. And then, again, I think it was literally, like, less than a year. It's been 6 or 7 months. the guy's just like, oh yeah, we're here now. It's an insane journey. We've calculated in videos before how long it would take to walk to the far lands. If you want to watch those videos, those exist, but I won't tell you. Thank you for inviting me on Xbox, J-Boy. Appreciate you. There is like a this like insane goal that we calculated before in videos, like how long would it take? And it's like no one would ever really do that. And this guy's like, huh? How about that, huh? And I love anyone who just looks at an insane challenge and goes, yeah, I can, I'll give it my best shot. Let's see if we can do this. It takes a bold person to say something. It's quite easy to say something can't be done, but to do something that seems like it can't be done is 100 times harder. And you've always got to give credit to those people, right? Also, thank you, PK Andrew. How are you going? Wait, how are you going? Why can't you say that? Why can you only say how's it going? Because when I'm talking about it in the sense of, I'm talking about your universe. I don't mean how is the world objectively going right now? Like, tell me, is the world doing good right now? People seem really optimistic these days, I hear only positive news about going-ons in the world, so I guess things must be going good, huh? But like, more seriously, it does seem, like when people ask questions, they seem to be. When people ask that, they do seem to say it weirdly. Whatever, I'm just gonna talk all day about weird turns of phrase, huh? That sounds like a lot of fun. Also, hello everyone. How are you doing? You having a good Saturday? I am not. Can I tell you a story? This is one of those rhetorical questions because the answer is yes. I guess theoretically, if everyone in chat said no right now, I'd be like, well, guess I won't tell you a story. But barring that being a circumstance. Hey, good to see you, Ryan Kittens. It's like Cat Tax. Thank you very much, man. So I've got a brief story I would like to throw into your ears, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm throwing the stories into your ears. I guess that's how stories work. You can't really throw things into people's mouths. Well, I mean, you can. It just takes good aim. But I've wanted to I've owned an electric scooter for a while. I think I've mentioned, but I wanted to have a bike for a little bit, right? But I've had this issue of bikes forever, where. In fact, I honestly have this issue like buying a lot of things used. If you don't know a lot about a particular item, cars, electronics, bikes, etc. Buying used seems really tempting because it's just it seems like it's just the cheaper version of the same thing. But I always have this like anxiety of like, if it's cheaper, it must be worse in some way. And it's interesting because in some industries, like when you buy cheaper, you always get worse. But like video games, you can buy the exact same game used or new, and you'll get like a like a $5, £5 whatever discount, and it's the exact same product. You play the exact same game. Like, it always blew my mind that anyone would buy new games after it already released, because like someone else would just sell you their copy, But let's leave that aside for now. But yeah, so like. I've always had this like mild fear, I guess. I need to open up a tab with the Streamlab. I was looking into buying like a bike, just a normal bike. Like I'm not usually the buy a normal bike person. I would get an e-bike. I've been looking into e-bikes actually, but they're like the one I want is several thousand because it like whatever. So I concluded like okay, drop in several thousand on a bike that that doesn't even exist in Europe yet. Like it's called Super 73 if you're a bike person, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, it's like, okay, not going to buy an electric bike because the one I want is expensive and I don't want to drop that amount of money right now. And so like I've been planning forever to just be like, okay, I'm going to go get me a nice used bike. And because I have no idea what makes a bike good or bad. Is anyone here like me where I do not understand why a bike costs sometimes like £50, sometimes several like hundred. Like how sometimes I saw a bike that was used and it cost 3,000, and I was like, how is a regular bike worth that much? What are they putting in there? When are you gonna post to your OnlyFans? You're letting me down, man. Says Matilda Duncan. The OnlyFans thing, I will, it is in existence. You are familiar with that much. But as far as the like making it happen, I want to like tie it into the marketplace thing somehow. I was like, okay, well, if you want, you can do it there, or just in case you think, you know, maps shouldn't be tied to that, we'll do it on OnlyFans. That's the kind of place I intend to take that joke. This doesn't seem like it's 6 blocks apart. Is it actually? No, it is not. This goes to 87. Which means this is in the wrong place too. Well, there goes all of that destruction. Please help convince me my bro yeet is valid. No, I will not. No. I disagree. Yeet is not valid. There we go. Also, thank you, Triple Threat, for the Toy Cat tax. How you going, my man? So, yeah, I'm sorry, what? You have an OnlyFans, this Kyler? I mean, don't we all have OnlyFans, if you think about it. In the sense that we whore ourselves out to our friends. Anyway, so, I wanted to buy a bike, and I don't understand why some are like literally thousands and some are dozens of pounds. Like carbon is expensive, steel is relatively inexpensive. So carbon literally costs thousands for like this amount, like a tube that big, or like 3 tubes that big, whereas steel costs not a lot. Is that really it? Like, because I bought a bike that was in the middle, and it's like, so is that like partially carbon? Is that what carbon fiber means? I don't know for sure. Also, can we do a collab on OnlyFans? See, right, that's the only explanation I could find was like, yeah, lighter materials cost more, but thousands more? It seems unbelievable. So I figured like, okay, here's the plan. I've had like, every time I look at a used bike, I'm like, I have this anxiety, like, it's gonna be messed up, it's gonna be broken, whatever. And then I decided to, like, get over myself, like, I'm gonna go buy a used thing, I'm gonna realize it's, like, you know, a used bike, I'm gonna realize it's fine, and then I can, like, get over this whole thing. Rather than paying, like, a bunch of money to get something brand new, I'll just, you know, like, I'll get over the fact that you totally can do that, because I've been an idiot before now. So, I found a really, really, like, nice-looking thing. I saw that, like, every other version of this bike was, like, double the price online, so I was like, I'm getting a good deal. I haggled the guy down, and he's like, I want, you know, like, I don't know if I should say amounts, but he's like, I want, you know, like, let's just say you wanted, like, 200 something, and I was like, nah, let's go down to 100 something. And the guy's like, fine, but you gotta come in the next, like, you know, he's like, a lot of people are talking, but not a lot of people are buying. And I was like, okay, here's the deal, my man. You know, I can be there tomorrow. I'll test out the bike and then I'll give it a pay. And then what I did is, because I knew, like, okay, there's a real chance this is a messed up thing. I'm not a bike expert, but I know, like, you need a seat, you need a tire, you know, 2 tires, in fact. You need, you know, gears and brakes and, like, every individual thing I tested right then and there. And I was like, oh yeah, this is like a really nice, like, I used to ride bikes all the time as a kid. And, like, this was so much nicer than any of those. And so I ride it around a little bit, and I'm like, yep, this is all good. He gives me some, like, info about it, etc., etc. And then as soon as I ride off and I get home, and it's great. Like, my first ride on it was wonderful. And then the second time, like, you know, later in the day, after it's been long gone, and, like, you know, the second time I ride it, the handlebars rotate, the gears fall, like, everything that can break about it, it seems like it does. And basically I had this, like, thing of just like, I had this, like, huge anxiety that this exact thing would happen, and then I convinced myself, oh no, it's okay, that doesn't actually happen, like, most of the time. And then it happened to me regardless, and it's like, oh, well, that was a huge, it's not that it was a waste of money, like, it's still a nice thing, but it's like, it's not what I wanted. I didn't get what I wanted for the price. I have to, like, fix it up, etc. Like, I have to even pump a tire, because I'm crazy in that way. Also, project idea, put wizard hats on the Emperors. That is a cute idea, friend. Also, extreme isolation, watching your stream while nostalgically playing Tech Classics. What is Tech Classics? I am curious. Oh, Techic. I assume Techic. I'm assuming it's a mod, maybe? You know, I don't know for sure. But anyway, so what I'm saying, as a Dutch person, I'm amazed people see a bike as something special. Yeah, I guess in the Netherlands, you just ride them till it's stolen, then you buy a new one. You know, like, I went through so many bikes in my childhood, and then I just hated them all, because I had one particularly awful bike, and I was like, nah, this whole genre sucks. Your woodless run reminded me of when I had to bridge away from an angry ghast diagonally to get over my ground and jump down, leave me barely alive. Scariest run ever. Yeah, it's not a, it was not a pleasant experience being in the Nether. Anyway, my point with all of this was just going to be that, like, the worst thing in the world is when you have, like, a fear about something, anxiety about, like, a really specific thing in the world, and then it happens. Because to make it even, like, mildly worse, I know no one cares about my life, but here you go, gonna tell you anyway. But, like, to make it, like, even more, like, frustrating, my scooter, like, the way I get around without a bike, the tire on that got punctured on the exact same day. So now I'm stuck with a bike that I have to, like, fix up and, like, I got, like, some of it done, like, I tighten the handlebars, etc., etc. But, like, I have to do that as a whole thing, and then also, on top of that, I have to, like, go get that thing fixed. And I have a scooter that has, like, the most ridiculously hard to fix, like, a tire in the world. Like, it's not as simple as, like, you know, you just take it out, this, that. It's this whole nightmare that I have to deal with. And I don't know, like, it was one of those days where I was like, everything that could have gone wrong did. It felt like, at least. Obviously, I can get both those things fixed, etc., etc. But just, I hate dealing with human beings. I would prefer a world, like, this is one of the things I hate about owning a car. Like, if I owned a car, I'd have to go to a human being every year, right? And they have to be like, this looks good, this looks bad, this looks great, this looks bad. Also, I played Ticket on this channel, Extreme Isolation. I played it, like, many years ago. People ask every now and then, will I play it again? And I have to be like, well, no, but thank you for asking. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of finish this up by saying that sometimes you have, like, a whole day, a life, it feels like. I know, like, you know, I'm sure everyone has, like, a version of this in their head, like a story that's much worse, where, like, things have more consequence than just their version of fun or getting around. But, like, I really hate the way you have to... it's like a reminder of, like, one, I think I'd be happier if I was, like, a little isolationist who, like, only had, like, grew my own vegetables, never had to speak to another human being outside of reasons I wanted to. Like, I even hate, like, going to the doctor or, like, going to the dentist or something. Like, if it's a procedure I'm not familiar with at all. Like, because, you know, it's like, sometimes, like, trying to buy something you've never bought before, sometimes people are just like, huh, yeah, no, that's a no-go. I can't believe, you know, like, super condescending, like, people dealing with you doing a thing, and you have to be like, I don't know the answers to your questions. I don't, like, and they're like, what do you want? And you have to be like, I don't know what I want. I just, and you don't actually say that. You gotta be like, I'm gonna describe this in ways that hopefully you understand. And, I know, it's a whole thing. Like, whenever this message is an intentional act of defiance. Hey, but your bank manager loves you. Honestly, that's what it's all about. You know, I was considering, like, end my life right there and then, but at least my bank manager loves me. What happened to your front door? See, the front door thing's another example of just like, oh my god, this process is, like, a lot of, it's like, like, so I had to, like, email my door dimensions to someone online. I had to go through a brochure of doors that I liked. They came round to my door, they looked it up, they checked the panels, and it's like, this, and then I gave them some money, like a deposit. I don't know if that's normal. Did I get scammed? Is a door deposit not a normal thing? It seems like it, you know. By the way, thank you, Dr. Overkill, White Torches. They're easy to produce, and if you need to place, like, thousands of something, you want it to be cheap. Just like steel in the bike industry, clearly. And humans can be complicated, says type in her name, Ollie. Exactly, right? Like, you know, you never know, like, are you just doing a service for me, or are we going to have some delightful, awkward talk? Like, which way are we going to take this one, you know? There's, you know, you ever have that where, like, you're not sure if you're meant to start casual conversation or not, and then they do, but then when you hit the conversation back to them, they, like, stop talking entirely, and you're like, oh, so were you just saying what is any of this? It's like when you get your hair cut, and you, like, to this day, I'm still not 100% sure. Like, okay, you go there, you talk about some things, or like getting in an Uber. It's the worst. It's, you know, this unknown situation where sometimes they want a conversation, sometimes they don't. Like, excuse me, sir, are you my robot driving me, or are you a human? You don't get to be both. You don't get to be a robot and a human. Oh, this is mildly off place. Because, you know, like, in a way, that's kind of how we are, right? We are these robot automatons that also happen to have, like, souls attached to them in the way that we serve our jobs, right? If you have a customer-facing role, and, you know, sometimes you should be a robot and sometimes a person, but it needs to be clear when which one's which, right? Like, oh yeah, right now, you hop in the car and they're like, sir, I will drive you to. I love when the first question is address. Is that correct? And I'm like, yes, and then we're done. I tend to laugh a lot when making small talk. That eases the tension a bit. Oh yeah, I do it too, but it's just like uncomfortable. I know, like it's not that I can't deal with it. Like I actually sometimes enjoy small talk. It's just sometimes you don't, and there's no way to socially signal, hey, I would not like to talk right now, or hey, right now I would like to talk, because it's like an awkward thing, right? But what's way more awkward is sometimes you don't want to talk and you feel compelled to, and sometimes, you know, maybe you'd enjoy a conversation and you don't get one going. It's a weird thing that I don't understand. Toycat, you light up my world like no one else. See, that is beautiful right there. That right there is pure beautiful. Anyway, so I thank you very much, Mr. Zender, by the way. Hello, Father Toycat. Do you drink ketchup? I also do. By the way, someone said, wait, first of all, there's one guy who's like, Toycat's ignoring donations. First of all, there's no actual, like, obligation. Like, the idea is, like, right now, we have it so you have your message on screen. We might change that, so instead, like, I respond instead of it being there. But, like, your whole message is being displayed. Like, if it's not meant to be like, oh yeah, I will read out, I will respond, I'll give you. But second of all, it's like, you know, it's real hard placing torches in Minecraft. It's so absorbing to the soul. If I don't want to talk, I legit say I'm not in the mood to talk right now. Most people understand. I feel like, you know, like, again, I guess it's technically valid, but you're like, it's a very dramatic statement, if you feel me, right? Like, it's technically true, but it's also it's more than true in that you're saying, I don't know how to, like, properly describe what I'm saying with that, but it's there's ways to describe things that are overcorrect, and I think if I'm just, like, you know, busy mentally and I'm not really feeling a conversation, it's hard to be like, I am, you know, like, I don't like lying, and I also don't like inferred lies if I can avoid them. And being like, I'm not in the mood to talk right now. Implies like something disastrous just happened. I don't know. That's my fault. Maybe this is like a problem no one else in the world has. I'm sure it is. I'm sure everyone else is just like, it's all good. Wait, did you see the chest? Says Tabby Cat. What chest? Your chest. Also, when I say that, people either accept it or they go, OMG, what's wrong? Which makes it worse. Yeah, right. Like, that's my point. Like, you're implying there's something bad, and there's a certain type of person who is totally like, I don't care with the words, because again, this is like, we're like analyzing conversation here. Maybe this is the best type of conversation, maybe the worst. But there are also we need to place torches over here. I don't know how we haven't done that yet. But like when you say anything in the world, you're both saying the words that you're saying, but you're also saying very much you're not just saying words is what I'm saying right here. You're saying a message behind those words. And if you can forgive that confusion, it means that there's this weird double standard where you're both, you know, if you say I don't want to talk right now, or like, you know, I don't want to talk, something bad just happened. People are like, oh no, something bad just happened. You'd like to talk about it. The I don't want to talk is just the social pleasantry. I would like, you know, like the something just bad is the really important thing. Whereas in reality, the social pleasantry is the, you know, I don't want to talk right now. And the social pleasantry is the something bad just happened or whatever. And I don't know, it's dumb. But conversations be complex. And the fact that you can say a message and depending on how you interpret it, you can get literally opposite results. It shows something interesting that like it makes me wonder how we function as humanity, I guess is what I'm saying. That we can make such disastrous over and under statements and still, and still vaguely communicate enough to like get the job done most of the time. Not all of the time, mind you, most of the time. Whew, overanalyzing it away. So, yeah, that's why I think like the better thing to do is just to be like, again, even this is rude, but just like, there's this, in most things I notice there's like a feeler question, like, hey, how are you doing today? And you just be good. If you want to have a conversation, you'd say good, how are you? Etc, etc, right? But if you're not feeling a conversation, you just go, I'm good. You could say thank you as well. That might imply you're into it. You know, that's a risk you've got to take on yourself. But it is definitely there's definitely like a negotiation you're having, whether you realize it or not. So I am lighting up the world because this is lit. I'm not a member of this channel because of I'd be excited. Don't waste your diamonds on a hoe. Ouch. Wait, Ribbonet. I've got something really important to tell you. Hey, first, someone who is a member of the channel. Thank you for becoming a member, friend. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy. I felt like you've been a member before. Maybe you're just re-rolling on it. But thank you for becoming a member, mister. We need to sign in the pride flag. So, what's your opinion on Eurovision? Says Hopey32. I have no interest. Like, I'm not a music person. If I was, I'm sure I would love Eurovision, but I am not. So I have no strong feelings one way or the other. So, also, what if someone buys a stack of toy cats? That would be absolutely delightful. I would love if someone bought a stack of toy cats. But yeah, to the person who said they wouldn't waste their diamonds in a hoe, I have some alarming news for you, because one of the symptoms of COVID-19 is lack of taste. I'm just gonna keep on using that. Can we accept that, chat? Okay, we're gonna accept that. Wonderful. Toy cat's not a hoe because he's not a tool. Anyway, so what is one of the first things you do when the Nether update comes out? I think one of the first things now is I'm gonna play it on this world. And I'm gonna see how that goes. I really am curious about like how I've seen a little bit of how it will update because of that video, but I want to play around with it. I want to have some fun. Kind of stick around because D&D wanted to say hello. Also, why no grass? Oh yeah, I added a temporary no grass rule. It's part of the video, is all I'll say. I just wanted to challenge people with something so ludicrous because, you know, religion, am I right? And so that's precisely what I did. Who doesn't love that? You should sell more merch, says Richard Lynn. I have like a really limited range of merch. I don't want to be like the guy who's like always promoting merch though, because you can make way more money selling merch than you can videos if you do it right and you really want to. But you have to like, I don't know, you have to do all the like artificial like create like hype blah 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 blah. You have to be like, oh yeah, there's not a restock coming for another. You have to like make up a bunch of lies, basically, or at the very least like half truths. And I like to be honest with any business venture I do. Like, you know, that toy cat thing. Like, oh yeah, that now that they're gone, I'm telling you this. There's no sales pushing for this. Like, this is just how it is. If you didn't get a toy cat plush before yesterday, they're gone forever. That is a cool limited time item that shows you existed at this time, and I love that as an outcome. I think that is delightful. I think it's better than just being like, haha, tricked you because we're redoing it again. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a way to sell some stuff. I don't sell merch if your audience wants it, and it's high quality. Yeah, every single thing that I tried to do, I tried to make it something I personally want, you know? Rather than being like, okay, what do the plebs want today? Any single thing that I sell is under the assumption of I would like this, I will try and put it out in the world. So, Cat, am I remembered? Hey, thank you, Shark Boy. Also, Dave Proof asking to Cat to change membership song Pigstoy. Let's make it happen. Let's do it indeed. And by that, I mean, you know, every day that I don't do it, I make a profit. You've now made an incentive. You've now made a system where I'm incentivized not to make Pigstep Kazoo my thing. Also, I can get a toy cat, but toy cat says bar of soap. That's also fine. Again, it's like, it's a thing I really wanted. If you don't want it, then that's cool. I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad I've got mine. Like, this is the cutest stuff. Also, thank you, Pygol. Good to see you here. I hope you're doing wonderfully today. Oh god, this is incorrect. Is that correct? Oh no, somewhere we've made a mistake. And I don't know where. But it's not good. Oh yeah, okay, I don't know how far back it goes. We're just gonna ignore this for a bit. As always, when in doubt, ignore everything about. Also, thank you. Last stream, I asked chat to remind me for the streams. I took a nap and they forgot. Also, I have 2 toy cats. Also, I wish I could stay and watch.
Wish I could stay and watch. Have a lovely stream.
Thank you so much, Mischievous. Good to see you here again today. And by see you here, I mean I'm not going to see you for the rest of the day, but it's cool to see you here right now. How are you doing? Oh wait, I guess no wait. You're not how are you doing? Get out there, go enjoy work, and thank you for showing up for at least a minute. That is nice of you. So mustard is a great substitute for water. Healthier. You know that's technically a fact. That's technically a fact. I mean, minus the healthy, and minus the great substitute, and minus the... You know, actually, I'd say mustard is a great. Is a valid sentence. Also, wait, mustard is a great substitute. Also, alright, no more incentives. So much money until you change it to Pigstep Kazoo. Honestly, the only reason I'm not going to... Like, I'm really, really cautious of changing anything. Like... In theory, if you wanted to, you could claim your thing was copyright, and every single stream where it came up, you could claim the revenue. I know you won't, but I try not to... I'm very cautious of using a person's thing, because a person can, you know, like, especially if they ask you to do it, like, it's... I guess what I'm saying is I'm a super paranoid person, and, like, you have very good intentions as a person, but also I will not leave my paranoia zone of comfort. Like I did with my bike, and look how well that went. Still mad about that. Still upset. But yeah, thoughts on new wall features in 1.16? I will have to check them out. Did I pull that off? I think I pulled that off. Minecraft is the best game ever, says Order Pay It Pouch. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. No, oh, it's so hot today. I'd like to just quickly mention, every time I sit here, like to come make a live stream, I kind of start melting. I might have to like, over the summer, stream less. I'm worried about that as like a thing, but there's definitely like a comfort level downgrade as a result of summer. Does anyone else have this? But like, it's got to be like a PC thing. Like PCs produce a lot of heat, and you don't really appreciate how much and why. It's just like, it's just a lot, you know? There's just a lot happening, going on right here. And maybe it's just me who cares. You know, it definitely is. I'm just ranting about heat right now. How is everyone else doing? So, Cat, you look very cute with glasses, says Mother Russia. That's nice. I think that is untrue, but you can think it is. Air conditioning. My air conditioning's super loud. Like, I know this is dumb, but again, it's like that whole, like, I try not to sacrifice audio quality. Because, like, I will be uncomfortable once, but the stream audio quality will suck forever for anyone who listens back to this. And, I don't know, it's, also, hashtag turtle, when will Spooncat return? It's been a while, hasn't it? You know, Spooncat always comes when you least expect him. Spooncat always comes when you least expect him. Will it be tomorrow? Will it be 5 weeks from now? Will it be never? You know, these are all... Wait, will it be never? Well, if it was, then it would be happening next Tuesday, am I right? There we go. High quality jokes. Not once, you stream quite frequently. I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying. I have an air conditioning unit right now. It's just, again, the loudness makes me go, I'll suffer for now, rather than turning it on. Can we all appreciate Toycat's hair for a moment, says Comrade Clive. You know, thank you. I think we should. Clearly, that is definitely a thing we should do. Okay, so I'm gonna... Every time I get, like... I sometimes get trapped in a cycle of, like, just reading comments and just being like, oh. Because it's a, Also, what is this? I haven't... How long have... Like, this is such a wacky cave. Oh, it's because the cave hit another cave that went across, and then that ravine kind of adds to it. But still, this is a fascinating little find. Hello, Toycat, and the nice people from the Discord, says Jack Cuff. Hello, Jack Cuff. So anyway, let's try and, because there is this funny thing where like you can use chat, like talking to chat is great, and I like to do it a fair amount. Like I think that's a key part of streaming, but also I feel like you can over talk to chat. I sometimes see it where it's like, you know, I'd like to hear what you have to say, not just what the chat has to say. If you get me, like so when I'm watching something else, I feel that. Maybe that's just me though. Maybe in reality, chat just wants to talk to each other, and I'm the medium that allows them to do that. I don't know for sure. Also, like right now, like again, it's like that thing where like some people are, like pushing their joke things, like the mustard water thing. Like if it's out of nowhere, like there are a lot of ways you can do things, I guess, and not all the ways are equal. Also, look how dark that little singular mountain is over there. It's just so dark, so dingy. Let's go fix it, actually. You know, I'm gonna be the change I want to see in the world today. Speaking of change, though, so like my whole little story earlier, I had like a super bad. I always wondered that. Does chat want you to talk or talk to them sometimes? Yeah, it's a trouble because every individual chat member would like you to talk to them individually, but the collective chat, like the chat, i.e. the people who actually show up and are not chatting, definitely want you to talk to them without, you know, like when you respond to a person's message, that person really appreciates it. But I do think that I think the overall collective is like, yeah, well, you're talking to us when you're not responding to us individually because you're doing that right now. That's been my take on it, at least. Maybe you disagree. Let me know why and how. I'm just going to place a torch in there just to be safe. And now we're going to go to sleep because I don't like rain, I don't like night. And you know what I hate more than you know what I hate more than either? Night rain. There we go. I made that work. But yeah, so I had like a super questionable day today. Oh, yesterday. I'd say today's been pretty good. Like I finished the map that I intend to put onto the marketplace. I'm kind of excited about that. That's a thing going forwards. It's not actually finished because there's so many, like, again, I can't really say too much, but there's this whole bureaucracy in releasing anything onto the marketplace that's like, yeah, I see why, like, other people can do this for you. Why that's a thing you might want. Like, I think it's never a good idea. Like, if you... Oh, wait, yeah, but as a pro tip for anyone watching this right now, if you can go independent, if someone ever wants to take a cut of your earnings in exchange for something, usually a good idea to say no. But I do think that there is like sometimes there's just like this whole process that gets in the way of making the things that you want to make. Like, you know, like if you just want to make a TV show, maybe you just want to make the thing. You don't want to deal with the whole process of dealing with the people, etc., etc. Like, there's, I've noticed there's like two types of people, I would say, broadly speaking. There's like people who like to get things done, and there's people who like to feel important. They like to get things done, not in the sense of getting things achieved in the world, but in the sense of, also, this is incorrect. All these torches have to go one to the right. I feel like there are people who like to just kind of do things. It doesn't matter if they're like useful. It doesn't matter if they're like, you know, required. But they feel like by adding their little thing, by adding a little workload, they're doing a nice thing. Like, oh yeah, well now, by having this, you know, just in case someone wants this in a ZMX file. So the number of like pointless meetings I've had in my life where someone's been like, we need to have a call about this. And then the call is something that's like, you could have said that in a 5-second email. Why did you want to talk to me about this? What was any of that? And anyway, so I'm dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, but the Guinness World Record application expires because you didn't pay, says Appleboo. That is true. Also, Toycat, when are you making another realm experiment? 2020. The pro tip is if you ever ask about realm stuff, I will never I can't give an exact answer because I don't know until it happens. And honestly, it's in my best interest to not, because the sorts of people who only follow for the realm experiment stuff, it's like, well, they're not the model audience anyway, you know, if you get what I'm saying. Is your map just a nice house where the furniture dies? Honestly, one day I would like to make a map as good as that. I wish you could make furniture that died. I wish we could, you know, like, I've always aspired to do that one day. However, right now, I'm just not able to. I cannot achieve those heights. So instead, what the plan is I'm releasing again, I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's going to be like a challenge map, an actual survival challenge. If you want to play a world that will be an extreme challenge, you can play survival in there technically, like just for a normal world. If you want to, like, I want it to be like, if you want to have a fun evening and maybe some more, this map should be good. Also, haven't paid my ticket tax in a while. Please don't take my home. Plus, have you done the religion realm? Oh, Poshovan, yeah, the religion thing it's like still in progress actually. It's a long story to explain why or how. But yeah, also gotta love Captain Sarcasm. No, I really think that Modern House is one of the best maps ever made. I do actually have it in my list of like, if this, like, again, the whole plan is like, if this first map succeeds, then obviously the plans for what to do from there will change based on that. I think again, like, planning too much before you know what people like is a bad idea. It's a mistake people often can make. But yeah, so I do actually have one of my ideas, like, if this goes well, is I want to make like a Modern House parody, and I want to turn it into like something very, very. I want to do something very fun with it, like make it a challenge map somehow, which sounds dumb and is dumb, but I mean it can't be worse than Modern House, can it? So there's that. Also, I won't take your house, Poshovan, but it's good to see you here today. But yeah, so I was like, it's been a weird day because there's so many like sub-regulations I've been like reading into about how this is gonna be, how that's gonna be, etc., etc. But at the end of it, the hope, the way it should work, is there'll be a thing that I've been working on for a while that can release, and people can download it. Even if you're on, again, this is the thing I'm like so excited about. Like, even if you're on Xbox or Switch, you'll be able to get it. That's cool. Like, for the longest time, I've wanted like to be able to share maps to Xbox and PlayStation users who don't, you know, mod or whatever, because, you know, like, forever you've been able to do that, but most people don't. And like that dream, it's taken like years too long and like a huge spat, and it does require, like, sadly, like the financial thing. But now the trade-off is like, it's there. I can make a challenge map and people can enjoy it, and then I can make it better, and it's gonna be a whole fun thing. What's an update on the moving front, says Shravia. Yeah, it still depends entirely on, like, if the United States of America opens up to Europeans, my life gets so much easier. I can just, you know, move over easily. If it doesn't, then I have to do the loophole, which means I need to find an Airbnb in Istanbul, or maybe in Mexico. Again, I'm not sure which country. I have to fly to another country, then I have to fly to it. So it's looking good, but I'm just hoping it, like, it's possible right now. It's just I want it to be easier. So that's the plan. It'd be nice if it was a free map. Again, I can't say this, but did you know I was thinking, like, because I want to release something for free. It's very, very, very hard to do so, is the long story short of it. Yeah, so that's a thing I won't be doing for so long. Also, we need to worry about getting out of Scotland to get to Alton Towers. I feel like it's easy enough to do, right? You drive out of the. I mean, I don't know if anyone in your household has a car, but I feel like you're in a pretty good situation there. Just zoom out, zoom back in, etc., etc. I feel like you're, you know, like there was this point where, like, police were stopping drivers to be like, hey, why are you leaving the house? Better be essential reasons. And that was like scary police state, in my opinion. I drive. Yeah, right. You just hop over the border, and then it'll be done in no time. Look how big that salmon is. I'm gonna kill these salmon. I could do with some salmon in my life. Let's just kill all the salmon. It's weird because even though we're killing them with a fire aspect sword, they're in water, so we can't really benefit from it. It's very sad. It's very sad. I love you, Toy Cat, says Zalon Games. Jalon Games. See, right, that's a chat that you enjoyed me reading out their Jalon Games, but to anyone else, they're like, that didn't add to my life. I just heard someone else read out that someone else loved them. But yeah, so I hope it goes well for you, Toy Cat. Thank you. And also, yeah, police still enforce social distancing stuff. We saw police at a possible graduation ceremony. Yeah, it really depends on like where you live in the world, etc., etc. But that like blows my mind, you know, because this is a medical issue, not a judicial. Like this is not a police-based issue, in my opinion. Like, if it's I like honestly this from the beginning. This has been my attitude. I'm just showing right now. What's your end goal? The end goal is to light up the entire Minecraft world, and by that I mean within a certain area, like a 864 by 864 area. It's a lot of torches that need to be placed. I'll admit that one freely, but the end result will be pretty cool. I hope. So yeah, basically to go back to what I was saying. Nope, entirely forgot it. That was so cool. He said he loved you. Nope. Oh yeah. No. Okay. So like, everyone like gets so mad all the time about this whole because right now we're in a pandemic. Have you guys heard? I don't think you have. This is definitely the first place you're hearing that. But it's like it's a medical concern. It's a pandemic level concern, you could say. And obviously there are certain big businesses perhaps that like if left to their own devices, if they're not told to shut down, they won't be able to. Same with travel. Like you need to advise people against traveling for like there's a lot of and also like advise against having big events for insurance based reasons. But the idea that like it is against the law, which it isn't against any law by the way, to go somewhere non-essentially, like you shouldn't be doing it ideally. You're taking a risk for others as well as for yourself if you are going to interact with others. But the idea that like police are involved in stopping that is like the dumbest thing in my opinion. Like, honestly, the only reason I can think is like people upset that other people are doing things like, because I've seen this non-stop since the start. People being like, my neighbors went outside and they didn't socially distance. These guys had a party. I can't believe them. You see like jealous, bitter people out there, right? The police job is to keep people safe. But like they're coming into work, right? They're sitting in a squad car with multiple people, like all within 2 meters of each other. And that's not how safety works, Like the police job is generally defined as not keeping you safe from yourself. It's keeping it's stopping other people's right to infringe on you. When they go beyond that, we've seen how it goes down in America. It's not seen as a good thing, right? It's seen as a bad thing. Like I don't know, it seems the whole point in the UK at least. I know in America you got a whole thing going on right there, but like in the UK policing works on like a by consent basis. Like they will not govern a group of people against their will unless it is directly against the law. Generally speaking, that's my observation. Also, first time I made it to a live stream. Love you, Toy Cat. Thank you, Emily Martin. I see you're drinking a cup of tea in that picture. Or I'm assuming it's a cup of tea. It could be a cup of anything, but I'm assuming it's a cup of tea. And so I hope you have a good tea. Yeah, that works. Close enough. Good tea. Good. Wait, I hope you don't spill that tea on the way out of here. That was the worst American voice I've ever heard, says Eclipse49. I don't know what you're talking about with my bad American voice. I sound perfectly like an American. The trick is to speak with the front of your mouth, apparently, but I don't understand that at all, so I speak like a cowboy. Why is the pandemic a political issue? It's crazy because people only acknowledge that there's a pandemic when it benefits them politically, right? Like, there's only a pandemic when your neighbors are doing things that, you're not doing. There's only a pandemic when you see people, like, oh yeah, you need to stay inside unless there's a good reason to leave. But the thing is, everyone has a different definition personally of what is a good reason. That's why, again, like, the police should not be able to enforce what a good reason to leave the house is. Like that's bonkers insane. Like, because admittedly, like, although you are risking the lives of those around you, and that's the reason. I think everyone should be informed on what the risks are and who to. Like, if you know the risks are to those around you, not yourself, you should be able to do whatever you want. You know, like you're making a bad decision if you go out continuously and don't change your life. But like, you know, we're trying to like apply this global balance between living life and, you know, a big deadly disease or whatever. I don't know. But like the risks need to be balanced based on. Your exposure should be based on your whole thing. It sounds like a bad Southern accent made by a Californian, so you did good. See, it sounds like an accent of an American done by an American. That's how good my accent is. Also, Shravya. Where do you live? I'm curious. You guessed there was a Texas accent, so I'm assuming you live somewhere in the United States, because you've been curious about the move a few times. Tell me where you're at, Mr. Shravya. Also, yeah, there's like one person saying like overthrow the mods. You know the mods are people like I put in place to make the chat a less awful place, and like, you know, it's not like this like, oh, they're like got too much power. No, this is a dictatorship. They are, you know, if they are the bad, untrustworthy police, it's on my directives, and you know it definitely is on my directives. I like a nice unstable judicial system. California's barely American, not gonna lie. Hey, you got him. It's that question again, freedom, security. Honestly, I've been thinking about this one because every time we make a trade-off between, you know, like freedom and lives, you know, like life, you know, like every time we make any trade-off like that, people go, oh, I can't believe you would let people die, for your right to freedom or whatever. Or people, you know, like, oh, I can't believe that we would not spend an infinite amount of money to fix something. Also, India and Miss Shravya, you pronounce it weird every time. Tell me how to pronounce your name. Shreya. Wait, there's no way. Okay, Shravya. Maybe you like put extra on the V. Try a Boston accent. I'm from Boston. I'm not. I can't do Boston. I like the Boston accent a lot. Like, it's very wacky in my opinion, but I definitely can't do it, I'm afraid. Should I feel bad for eating a whole pizza by myself? See, the correct answer is no, but because you're asking me, it means the answer you want is actually a yes. You're a terrible human being, Kyler. You're gonna burn in hell. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm placing a lot of torches, and we're getting some good stuff done, I feel like. So again, is question mark. I can't believe you'd ever say that. That is the most questionable thing I've ever heard. Also, we've gone well past the forest now. We're in this nice little extreme hills part of the world, which I guess we'll keep covering. Honestly, we get to explore the world slowly, because it's been so long since I've been here. It's like, this is what it looks like. How nice. Also, saving that soundbite. Okay, thanks. Honestly, you know, I think I mentioned before, like, one of the things you need to do to be like, to achieve your goals, sometimes you need to like self-bully yourself, be your own accountability system, because you're the person who can keep you accountable the best. But some people, you know, like, they're not best accountable to themselves. If you are made better accountable to someone else, maybe in those cases, you should have someone, you know, like, have a little app that tells you, like, you were a fat pig today. You should be better. Yeah, that'd be nice. Also, it's Shravya. I've got it now. I've got it good. But yeah, like, we make the trade-off between, like, human lives and freedom all the time. And it's like, you know, like, maybe we could make some argument that we shouldn't one day. Or maybe that's, like, maybe the fact that we don't is very intentional. And it's all controlled by the people above. I don't know for certain. What I can say, though, also, just gotta check something is all good. Seems very good. Hey, I got a new video I can upload in a short amount of time. I forgot the video was, actually. Oh, I remember what it is now. I like our string police. But, yeah, I think that we are constantly making Give Me Liberty or Give Me Toy Cat. We're constantly making trade-offs between risk and ability to do stuff. And it's interesting that like a lot of people don't see it because it's still true. Or that guy from Scrub that sings Mistake. I haven't watched Scrubs in forever. I know it has that Zach Braff fella in it, but I haven't delved much in it past that. Maybe that's my mistake. Maybe I need to dive into some more Scrubs. Also, I've already been up here. How nice. Okay, perfect. But yeah, so like we are always like anytime you get on a form of transport, like when you get in a car, the risk you are taking, not just for yourself but for other people. If you drive a car wrong and you hit someone, you can kill them and you can kill yourself. Different probabilities for both. That is horrifying that you can kill, you know, two sets of people. An innocent, someone doing the perfect thing at all times can be killed by your thing. Like your idioticness can kill someone else. You know, your mistake even. Like you're on point, you have one moment of distraction. That moment of distraction can kill people. But we decide that cars are a more useful tool than the downside of not. We think cars is worth the risk more than not cars would damage us, you know? It's and like, you know, there's a trillion examples of this. Like we think that the benefits gained from, also let's have a torch be in here. We think the benefits gained from a lot of things are worth the risk that they pose to us, because we like expanding, we like doing better. Does that mean killing people is a mistake, says Ruben von Straten? Not always. Not always, technically. Do you have a diet plan? I remember you drank some whole liquid food a while ago. Oh yeah, I don't have a real diet plan. I just like I'm a big believer at like things that get to people like things to be complicated so they can believe that the reason they haven't done it before is because, oh yeah, it was a hard thing to understand. But I really think all dieting in the world comes down to calories in, calories out. Like, calories are literally the energy your body runs on. The more calories go in your body, the more, you know, energy your body has. And the more energy that you have that you don't burn, the more energy you have in your body that you don't burn, the more of that has to be stored to be used in the future. If you run a calorie surplus, like if you eat more calories than you burn, you'll slowly put on weight. If you burn more calories than you eat, and you burn something like 1,500 calories on a default day, it depends on your body, etc. But like breathing uses calories, your heart comes with calories, etc. It's a whole thing, right? But yeah, so like all you have to do, it's the simplest lesson that everyone hurts, because like every diet does this to an extent. It's just like, just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't eat chocolate cake. It just means you should eat less chocolate cake. Like, don't eat the whole one. I love eating whole cheesecakes. It's been so long since I've done this because, like, I just feel sick when I do it now because I've trained myself for so long. But, like, eating the whole cheesecake feels so good, but you don't. You know, you want to do it, and you go, oh, yeah, I want to, but it's not a good idea. But, like, it's, you know, like, the way you can market that, because there's so much money to be made in teaching people, you know, how to live their life and how to diet, etc. And you make it sound complex. You're like, it's a diet where as long as you follow this one simple rule, you can eat all the chocolate cake you like. I'm currently on a liquid diet, not really by choice though. On the plus side, lost a stone. I really want to do like a liquid, like again, I want to eat those like nutrition drinks for a week and see how that goes. You know, I might start that soon actually. You know, if I'm at home all this time anyway. I just love food so much. I fear I'd miss it. Diet advice to toy cats clutch. Is there a topic this man can't master? See, right, I don't know. I personally like everything that can be mastered by humans can be mastered by a human. I feel like I'm not like particularly advanced, I don't think. But I feel like any individual issue, like, I don't know, how do you have a happy relationship? And it's like, well, you know, like, again, like, it's a really simple thing, and it's like, well, try not, you know, like, try working out what makes a good relationship in the general sense. It's like, you know, what are your favorite parts of the relationship? What are those people's favorite parts? Like, work into it and be like, oh yeah, if we do nothing, life isn't exciting. Things have got to be this, that, the other. You know, the work out what the reality is there's no such thing as a perfect relationship advice, because every two people, every, you know, individual relationship is going to be hugely different than the next one. And it's like, oh yeah, there you go. Now you've just worked out that the thing you really got to work out is not how to be good at relationships, but how to be good with your current partner. Like everything can be broken down to fundamentals, and everything can be oversimplified, which is good in the abstract and can be used. Like, because humans love narratives. We don't like the idea that the reason we messed up at something, or the reason we're not good, or the reason we're just okay at something, is because we just, we've been just kind of like autopiloting through. It's got to be like, oh yeah, there's this one secret, this piece of knowledge that can save your whole life. And I'll admit, I probably used this at some point, like, oh yeah, all you've got to know the one thing you need to know to beat Minecraft on hardcore difficulty is food management, or how to make, potions or whatever. Like, you can, the one tip to do anything is always going to be like wildly successful. Because everyone wishes the world was as simple as one tip helping them out. We weave these complex narratives about like, oh yeah, the reason I haven't, the reason I haven't lost weight, the reason I haven't done whatever I want to do is because I didn't know this thing. There's this secret in the world that successful people, at whatever art it is, share amongst themselves. Like, how do wealthy people get wealthy? There's this big old boys club. Old boys? Good old boys? I feel like I've heard that phrase. Whatever. There's this big club where all the rich people get together and they scheme against everyone else. And so the reason that I haven't done it is because of the Illuminati, the Stones. And those are real organizations. They do have some impact, by the way. But like learning that there's like a thing, like why do millionaires give to charity? People will learn the one tidbit of like, oh yeah, tax deductions, and be like, oh yeah, the reason they give money to charity is because they get like they get a deduction on their taxes as a result. And it's like, so they're not doing it because they care about the charity. It's all a selfish move. Because if you can't comprehend, like trying to imagine why you'd give $1 million, pounds, euros, rupees. Like, why would you give all that money to charity when think about what you could do with it instead? Like, it's a hard thing to comprehend, and therefore you simplify it down. Like, oh yeah, there's this one thing we didn't know. It's tax deductions. But the way it actually works is when if you give $1 million to charity, like right now, let's make it simpler. If I give I gave $1,000 to charity for the I was wrong about the cave update, right? So I gave some money to charity. When you give money to charity, you don't ever gain money from it. What happens is you don't pay tax on the part of your income that you gave to charity. In other words, if you're being taxed at 20%, then you would pay, and then you go donate £1,000 to charity, you would pay £200 less tax. If your tax rate is the highest in like a major Western nation of like 67%, you donate £1,000 to charity, the government lowers your taxes by 670 or something. It's not a scam. It's like you're still losing money because they're still, they're still doing a good thing and they're still spending money on a charitable cause. Slightly less money than they would if they, weren't claiming on their taxes. That is true without a doubt. Yeah, that technically correct. They are saving. But then it's like, when you simplify it down that way, you miss the key element of like, oh yeah, they're still spending. When you give money to a charity, it's not a dodge. It's just it's just what the government's saying. Oh yeah, we won't charge you tax on that portion of your income because you gave it to charity. It's not, yours. Like, it's like if I earn £1 million and I donate all £1 million to charity, I do not have any money which I could give to the tax people, right? Because it's all there. So I get a tax deduction of £1 million. But it'd be way better of an idea if I wanted to have the most money to pay the 450-ish grand in tax, and then keep the other 550 for myself. That's what I'm trying to say. That's simplifying things down is a really great way to make things more shareable, but it doesn't make them more correct. It makes them less correct, in fact. Okay, let's make some more torches, by the way. Actually, we'll just shove the... Yeah, and then we'll make torches. It's been a while. Let's make a bunch of these. And we'll just place the remainder back in here. It's always nice to see a nice full box of torches. Very satisfying, to say the least. So here's another example, right? Like, the whole pessimism versus optimism argument. Like, should you be excited about the future? Should you be excited about the world, or should you think that things are going badly? So Cat, you're cancelled. You sent the M-word milk. You know, thank you, Moo. I didn't think I'd be cancelled over this, but you know, it's all good. I really just like tax. I don't understand VAT especially. I mean, kids have to pay VAT. I think it's like, I think the cool thing about VAT is it's the least dodgeable tax. No matter who you are, like, every billionaire in the world pays VAT, you know? Like, that's the cool thing about, you can't not pay a sales tax because it's paid by the retailer, or like the retailer has to collect it on your behalf. That's the one cool thing about it. But the downside is therefore like children pay it. The way you would fix that ideally is you'd give children a certain amount of money every year to offset what they pay in tax. But we don't bother because we just assume it's their parents' money. And anyway, you know, whole thing. We could do it. There's some cool tax systems, but let's not talk about taxes because taxes are boring. Let's talk about like, hey, should you be optimistic or pessimistic? Is the glass half full or half empty? And the answer is it's kind of both. It just depends on what you're trying to measure right there. But like because like it is like, again, simplifying it down to like, is the glass half full or half empty? It's both. It is both half full and it is half empty. It is, those are different things that we are talking about that technically mean the same thing. And if you look at the glass and you say it's only one of those things, then you know, you're the one, like, anyway. So ignoring that though, because that's again a dumb simplification. If you actually look at like if you actually like try to analyze the perspective itself, because the logic of pessimism, because it seems dumb, like why would you not want the world to be the best? And it's like the logic of pessimism is not I want the world to be amazing. It is I don't want the world to be good. It's I expect that things will fail. When humans are involved, things tend to break. Things tend to fail. If you're pessimistic, if you think the world sucks and everything's like, if I am very, what's that glass is half full with
The
water?
glass is full, half with water, half with air.
See, that exactly right. Empty is describing how much air is in there as opposed to other materials. So it is an entirely filled glass. You're right. You know, it's even more dumb. It's even more dumb. But yeah, like which perspective is the objectively better one? Like, because people would always argue like, oh yeah, you've always got to be an optimist. If you're not an optimist, you're going to fail in life. You've got to be a pessimist or you're going to fail. Well, the reality is, I think, is that being pessimistic works super well because of the fact that if you expect things to be great and they are great, things are as you expect them to be. You don't feel any, it's not great. It's just okay. But then if you expect things to be great and they suck, it's a tragedy. Oh no, this isn't what I thought at all. However, if you're pessimistic, if we go down the opposite like chain of events, if you expect things to be awful and they are awful, you feel okay. If you expect things to be awful and somehow it turns out they're great, then like, yeah, party time. This is amazing. This is so much better than I expected. Like pessimism is, you can call it realism, you can call it whatever else, but not expecting a high amount from things is it seems like a super toxic philosophy. Like, no, we should all want the best for the world. But I think the best perspective is actually like knowing, based on the situation, knowing when to be pessimistic and optimistic. If you're thinking about what you can do, like if you're talking about you personally and what you can do, you should be optimistic because you can achieve a lot in the world. You watching this video right now, you can do some amazing things. And sometimes you're not going to do amazing things. But if you try to expect those amazing things and you visualize them, etc., it's a very real idea. Visualizing, success is a great idea. But on the other hand, pessimism is a really great idea because when you expect things from other people, those things, like other people can let you down. That's a reality. It's a sad reality we have to learn about the world, but people can let you down. And even like systems and stuff, because like stuff like, people like to say things like, oh yeah, food is a basic human right. You should, why do we have to pay for food? Why do we have to pay for, someone to, is that a guardian? What is a guardian doing here? Huh. You drink the first half and breathe the other. You're not wrong, Poshavan. You're not wrong. They are both. You can consume both halves of that liquid. Huh. How did a guardian spawn there? Is this like the edge of what should be an ocean monument? Perhaps. Huh. You know, I'm gonna leave that there. I think that's an important thing to leave right there. But yeah, pessimism is a great thing to remain grounded. I think that the thing about like when you expect, okay, so like if you expect, for instance, like you know, I don't like that it is this way, but it kind of is. If whenever I am going on a plane or if you're getting on a train or something, that's public transport. It's something you expect from the world. Like, but to actually have it happen for, you know, for a train to work, for a plane to work, you need a guy who's a pilot to, you know, be there on time, ready, etc. No matter what. You need a, you know, you need a train company who's got the capital to spend the hundreds of millions to buy the plane, the train, whatever it is. You know, you need like the infrastructure in which it runs, the airport. Or there's a lot of moving parts that are required from the world. You can't expect that to be perfect and always happen all the time. You know, people get really upset when a flight is delayed because they're like, I paid for this, why aren't you doing it? Or even if it's not I paid for it, like some people believe that you know, like there's a lot of people who believe that the world owes them a lot. Like some people say it's like the world owes them everything. I think some people think quite rightly, like, why do I have to work every single, you know, like there's a lot of things of like, why would you have to do this, that, the other? Like, why am I expected to work every single day, use my free time just so I can survive? And the answer is not, like, again, it comes down to like, we are all being the other humans we expect in this world. When you want something for air quotes free, that means, or like when you want something to be done regardless of the human consequence, right? You're really asking for another person to do that thing for you. Again, there's no the concepts of things like corporations and governments. Like, you know, there is a corporation of an airline that does a thing. It's all like a fiction in our head. It's all people that get the things done, and sometimes people and machines. But like, and machines are a lot more reliable than people, by the way. You can trust machines. Trusting people is a lot harder. So being pessimistic is a good way to to minimize the effects that they have, social constructs. Is math science? Is science maths? It's a good question. Also, we call it maths in the UK. I think it's so weird that you call it like math in America when it's like mathematics. Maybe you're right, maths. Whatever. Anyway, like there's multiple mathematics. You know, it's the mathematics. It's not the mathematic. You're not studying one mathematic and then going home for the day. It's mathematics. Anyway, so like that's why I think when you like the best way to be in the world, the best way to minimize disappointment is to not expect huge amounts from other people. You know, like if you expect that, oh yeah, everything, you know, like there are things that need to be, oh god. There are things you need to rely on. Sometimes those should be reliable. But when you, and like, you know, but even then you should always be like, that is a last resort. If you have things, if you expect good as only the last resort, if you expect like bad, it's like, you know, like, I don't know, when you have a hard drive failure, like, if you know, backing up your data for 99% of people is a dumb idea. Backing up your Minecraft world, right? Also, Whiskund is obviously the best name. What is Whiskund? Is that mathematics in Frisian right there, Leanne? But if you backups don't make sense for 99% of people. But when it's your Minecraft world that is corrupted or something, you'll wish you had a backup of it. When it's your PC that is a thing, that's a thing. But like, when your PC has an issue and breaks and the hard drive corrupts, you'll wish you had all that data and you'll be like, I wish I backed it up. But you can't back something up retroactively. You've got to prepare and assume, oh yeah, there is a good chance that it might. This is a solid probability. You know, again, will it happen or will it not? Whatever. Like, but this could happen is a thing you should keep in your mind. Is this a desert? Why are there desert bunnies here? I back up every 2 weeks. Oh, it's maps in Dutch, says Leanne. You know, that's a beautiful name. I love it. Math is just mathematics without the immatics. Yeah, but think about, like, economics. You don't call it... Wait, I guess you just call it economics fully, right? I was going to be like, oh, yeah, you don't call that econ. But then actually in America, you do call it econ, right? You know, Americans, they abbreviate our words, and they make them real short. And that's nice of you to do. That's real nice of you. But yeah, so, like, always be, like, prepared. You know, expect the... I guess, like, the phrase I always like for this is, like, expect the best, but prepare for the worst. Like, know the worst can happen at any time. Like, hope... If we all hope the world is nice and we try to make it a good place... This is a really weird dark patch. I'm going to leave it there just because it's goofy. But I just want you to know. Not normal. Not normal at all. Abbreviation is YES, says Zotel acronym. I see you big... Is Zotel an acronym? Is that what you're telling me of your name? Back up your hard drives or you spend $100 on hard drive recovery software and hate your life. Why is hard drive recovery software so expensive? That's one of the questions I've always wondered in life. Speaking of things I've always wondered in life. Because right now I pay... when your PC is a thing, that's a thing. See? Never expect much from a toy can. It's gone now. It's all gone. Because sometimes my brain does not work. You know, people say I say smart things, but like, I don't know what smart is. I'm not intelligent. I just say things, and sometimes you enjoy hearing them. Maybe you just enjoy hearing what's coming out of your own brain, really. Should we light up this swamp? I don't think we can or need to. It'd be a great place to spawn drowns, I guess. What's the abbreviation of assignment? Sign, an assignment, an assignment. Yep, that's how it is. What things you want in life? Cave update. Exactly. That's all I want in life. Not just a thing I want in life. That is the entire sum of it all combined right there. But yeah, I think the best worldview to like actually, because I see so many people like wildly disappointed when again like when a flight is delayed or cancelled. One of the things that comes up in my recommended, because I watch plane videos, is my terrible experience with, you know, American Airlines. Why you should never fly United Airlines. And what it is inevitably every time is my flight got delayed. You know, like they never explain why. They'll just be like, they delayed my flight on purpose because those monsters didn't realize I had a place to be. I can't believe, you know, like they took my money and they didn't take me to the place at the exact, you know, like, so they'll make it a whole thing like that. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, and then when they did try and get me there, you know, because, you know, they won't even talk about how, like, it's kind of nice that they didn't just make you wait for the next flight. They're like, oh yeah, they put me on another flight going to another place. And then when I got my second flight, that second flight was delayed. Ignoring the fact that that's like, you know, probability means that 1 in every 10,000 customers is going to get, you know, like 2 delayed flights. Oh, actually, I think something like 80% of flights arrive on time. So the odds of you getting 2 delayed flights in a row are only 1 in 25. 1 in 25 people will have 2 delayed flights in a row. It's not like this disastrous thing. 1 in 1,000 people lose their bag entirely when they fly. It's bad, but like those are the stats, and I don't know. I don't know why. Like, airports are complex. It's a huge operation. You know, rather than jumping to the this is a terrible thing that someone has done to me, if you jump to the oh yeah, let's work out how this happens. Like I remember once I was having a conversation with someone. I think this goes over here, not over there. I'll actually explain who this was because like it's a really dumb relation. My brother's girlfriend's stepfather. So like me and this guy have no relation, right? This is just me talking to a dude at this point who like I am technically, you know, I'm formally like you know, like there's a reason we're speaking. He wouldn't speak to a 24-year-old Minecraft YouTuber otherwise. But otherwise there's no like I don't have any like standards. Like I don't need to impress this man and he doesn't need to impress me. We're just saying words. You know, which is like again, I like that. Like the problem with like family sometimes is like you gotta like do well at family, but you know, there's no pressure with your brother's girlfriend's stepdad. Thank you VF9R for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you VF9R. But so yeah, I was speaking and like I learned that it was 50. No, it was £100. No wait, it was something like 100 Oh no, it was like 50, I think. To rent, you know those gowns that you wear at like a graduation and the hat? And it was like 50 or 6. It was like it was a lot of money, and I was my reaction was that's an absurd amount of money. And then his reaction was just like, actually, I mean, if you think about the fact that they're like holding on to it for, you know, all year, they have to buy these things, they have to then clean them, they have to hold on to them for the whole year. And then, you know, like they also have to replace them as they break, because you know you might break them as you use them. And like my first reaction was, oh my god, they're like ripping off students to sell them these gowns. And his first reaction was like, well, you know, they do have costs, they are kind of high. And it was like again, it was the most minor interaction. It was he doesn't think about this one at all. It was just a thing in my head where I was like, you know, that is a much better way of seeing things than, oh yeah, people are out to get me. They want to steal my money, and that's monstrous of them. Like, these people offered a service, and you could have just said no. But, you know, like, or like, you know, in the case of the flight delay, it's like, there is an incredibly complicated, multi-piece moving thing. Back to the donation game, like the other stream, says VF90. I'll have you know that right now you are only in the top 5 super chatters. Wow, you want to be number 1? Better give me money, huh? But no, there was a, I had like this, reminder that, you know, like when you engage in like something voluntary, it's hard to be like upset and be like, oh yeah, but, you know, I want it to be different. You see, like you can expect reality to be great, but it's also worth mentioning that reality as it is like the world we have built, society as we have built it, which is a lot of, again, I hate human interactions, but I have to admit, there's a lot of moving parts with lots of individual humans that move around that make for incredible things. Like the fact that you can buy a plane ticket at all, even though, you know, it feels like, oh yeah, it's just a service. I'm going from this place to the other. That is what I am being sold. And on a simplified level, yeah, that's all that's happening. But what's really happening is this money is being used to fund the capital expenditure program off the airline, which they're also, you know, let's just destroy this tree. Let's just destroy it. Like, you know, like they're buying these multi-$100 million assets, and then they're funding them on the back of like, hopefully people want to buy in those things. And then they've got to, you know, pay pilots to like learn to get their license, pay them, you know, like six-figure salaries a year just to pilot these places safely. Then they've got to like fuel them, file flight plans. There's like so many hundreds of people involved in like flying you from one place to another. And people boil it down to, oh yeah, the airline just hates us. They're not putting in the effort correctly when, you know, a lot of those things get wrong. Because, you know, in life, things go wrong. And being ready will make you probably happier than if you aren't ready. That's my guess. That's my guess. You can never beat Commander Y in the donation game. That is totally true. He is unbeatable. It is a well-known fact. He is Lord Simp, I believe, is his official title that he gave himself. And you know, you gotta respect a man who gives him a title like that. Is there an underwater ravine there? Oh no, what I did is I just I put some like I dug the trench even though there's a river here, because I wanted the river to remain because I use it for boats. So I just used signs to stop it, like this. Apparently very badly, but that's what's going on here. But that's the absolute wonder fascinates me so much. The world is so complex and beautiful in some places, and to simplify it down to it is not serving me correctly at this moment right now is like it's like sad when I see that. It's like, no, there's so much the world is so far from perfect, and we should strive to make it better. But also, it's great now. Also, hi, good to see you, Robin Brooks. It has been a while. Happy Father's Day. Here's some money to spend on your favorite hobby. Is it Father's Day? Oh yeah, my brother said that he sent a card for me and him. Oh, it's Father's Day an hour from now. You filthy liar. Although good job on knowing British Father's Day, because I think it's different in America, right? Father's Day USA. Oh no, it's the same. Why is Mother's Day different but Father's Day is the same? Okay, well, you didn't know British Father's Day. There goes some of the brownie points. But I will take $5 and I'll... You know, what is my favorite hobby that I can do right now? tomorrow I'm thinking of, I was going to go climb the thing today. Thinking of doing that tomorrow instead, perhaps. But that costs no money. I guess it costs money to hop on the train. I'm going to buy Tim Hortons. My favorite hobby is Tim Hortons. It's Father's Day in India too, says Shravia. I've always wondered how many like Commonwealth holidays are celebrated in India. Because I could be wrong, but I think India's... Wait, actually, is India in the Commonwealth? I feel like it left. Is India in the Commonwealth? Because I feel like... oh, no, wait, the reason it is in the Commonwealth and we actually changed the rules of the Commonwealth to allow India to stay in it, despite becoming a republic. I remember that's a fun fact. And people say we don't care about India. Anyway, so, my favorite hobbies are volleyball, talking to people, and food. You know, it blows my mind how much you enjoy. Like, the fact that you said it multiple times. Like, when you first said, I enjoy talking to people, I was like, haha, good joke. But you've really stuck to that joke, Mother Russia. Can't believe you'd enjoy human conversation. Like, again, I can... There are types of conversation I enjoy, but the vast majority of it's like, oh, yeah. I would rather be anywhere but in this conversation right now. Oh, what's that? I can't leave until we find an exit point. Like, what is that, you know, with, like, conversations have, like, exit points, and you can't, like... If someone's being like, oh, yeah, and so my father just died, and I'm about to go up to the ranch this weekend. You can't be like, oh, I guess I'm going. Just realized it's real bad. You have to, like, come off urgency, and it's, like, this awkward thing, and, like, people get all flustered, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's okay. It's totally okay that you're leaving me right now. Definitely not upset with that at all. And it's like, no, I just don't want to be talking to you. You're just very boring. I think you misunderstood here, friend. But yeah, no, no, like, so sometimes it is just like, I would like to not be speaking, but you kind of have to for longer than you want to. It's a whole thing. It's very awkward. India isn't the Commonwealth. I did know it was the exact same in the UK, but you can keep those brownie points. The exchange rate isn't so great on those. Man, the dollar to pound exchange rate has been like, it's been like going down in terms of like, as a British person spending money abroad, it gets worse and worse. But because I make all of my money in dollars, including your very tip right there, it's kind of cool because, it's kind of cool that I can effectively... Okay, is this lined up with all of those? Yes, it is. It's kind of cool because effectively I've been getting like mini pay rises as a result of my country suffering. And you know what? There's nothing that makes up for a country losing its exchange value quite like, you know, making a little profit on it. I prefer when people are direct about wanting to stop a conversation because I want to end the conversation too. Yeah, right. Like it's something I try to do where I'm like, hey, we're gonna just bounce from here. At Mother Russia, extroverts don't exist. Basically, extroverts are a made-up controver. Yeah, like honestly, like being like, again, as someone who I would describe myself as like naturally an introvert, but like I try to push myself to be as extroverted as I can be, which is why I live stream right here, by the way. Wow. Look, I'm just talking non-stop. You guys can't even fit a word edgewise in, can you? That's a phrase. I don't like that. What does that even mean? Fit a word edgewise in? Like, fit it in... What does edgewise even mean? You know, I need to look into that phrase sometime. But, I just don't understand is what I'm saying politely right here. And speaking of things I don't understand politely right here... Oh, we're gonna have to go back to that. Because I remember these torches, we, like, really badly messed it up. So let's go find a torch to make this parallel with. But yeah, so, there's a... Nope, I lost what I was saying. It's gone. I'll even real. I like to believe sometimes that you're not. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. If you're real, that's nice. That's kind of cool, I guess. But if you're not, it's like, oh no, not real. What a tragedy. Also, wait, why is this... Okay, wait, this is 249. This is 243. Oh, this block right here is where that needs to be. Oops, I've been placing torches wrong all the way on the other side. That's nice to know. Oh, ouch. There's a tax fraud flag. Is it just a picture of Yoshi? Is that the joke there? With the edge uppermost or towards the viewer. With the edge uppermost. But what is the edge? You know, thank you, SC, anyway. I like people who want to be useful. All Middle East currencies losing their exchange rates catastrophically with the dollar. You should look it up. Is that really so? That's very interesting. You know, it's interesting because in times of crisis, people tend to buy US dollars, and like the global markets tend to buy US dollars, and Japanese yen, I think, is the other one. They're like safe haven currencies, and I find it really interesting because that effectively like changes, like because you know, like people feel like the US is a safer place to put their money, and therefore as a result, if you do dangerous, like in like pre-reaction, I guess is what I'm going for, like in preemption, what's the word, in prediction, in like prediction of like something bad happening to their money if they leave it in a country, because like if you had your money in North Korea, they would have expropriated it. If you have your money in certain, like if you have your money in Greece until a certain time, right? Like wait, here's a crazy thing. This like blows my mind. This happened in Greece. I don't know what the heck it was. Greece bank account haircut. They took a certain tax on in 2015, if you I don't know if wait, did they do it or were they just planning to? So at one point, what Greece did, because they really needed money, and like they couldn't raise taxes at that point, they're like, what we're gonna do is all the money stored in bank accounts, we'll just take. I think it might be in Cyprus. It was Cyprus, not Greece. They just took 30%, I think it was. Cyprus bank account haircut. Deposits under 100 euros got 3%. If it was between 100,000 and 500,000, got 10%. And then it goes up above that. And then if it was above that, 9.9% was the highest it went. So yeah, if that basically all the money like left in bank accounts in Cyprus went down 10%. Like if you had money in a bank account, you would wake up the next morning and 10% would be gone because you know the government needed the money. And on like and that's like, bear in mind that's a Western country. That's like a major, a seriously industrialized, wealthy service-based economy. Like if you had money in cash, government got 0% of it. If you had your money in a bank account in that country, in Cypriot euros, guess where 10% of that just went. And it's I know it's a crazy reminder that like, oh yeah, okay, because exchange rates are just based on supply and demand. Like if you're buying American dollars, more, and you know the price goes up. If you're selling American dollars, the price goes down by minor like micro amounts. We're talking like fractions of a fraction of a fraction of a cent. But because of that, like when there's like a big crisis in the world, like there has been happening right now, people want to like put their money in America because like if something bad happens and your country wants to seize their money, they'd prefer it not to be in the country at all. So yeah, it's interesting because that like it's called like unequal privilege because it happens like every time. America gets a big boost from the rest of the world in terms of their exchange rate, which isn't always arguably a good thing because there's more demand than there should be. But it means that like the whole world gets kind of messy with stuff. And I thought my country was stealing from me. It is a history lessons at Toy Cat. Yeah, it's that thing, right? Of like what I was saying. Like one of the things I always say is the world is unimaginably complex. The fact that it works at all is a wonder sometimes, but we've got to learn, you know, like, and that sounds insane to say because of course the world works. Toy Cat, it always has. I generally hear people say like, and this was my mental argument for a while, like, oh yeah, why does it even matter, like, voting or whatever? Like, everything's the same regardless. Like, nothing, like, major dramatic has happened in my lifetime anyway, so, I guess everything's just about the same, huh? And it's a valid argument to have when times are good, and, like, you're lucky if you live in a country where you can think everything's been roughly the same. America feels so unreal to me. I don't know if you heard this earlier, Leanne, but I'm potentially living in America for a few months later this year. It's gonna be a wacky time to me too. It's gonna be a wacky time for me too. But yeah, basically the society like is this wildly complex web of things all happening to exist in the world at once, and it seems like it can't go wrong because it's never gone wrong. And like it's complex, sure, but like it's all fine. But there's so many examples of history where it's gone wrong. It's like we should be learning from each of those. We should be valuing, and we should be trying to stop this from happening again, rather than being like, oh yeah, that's just fine and guaranteed. Let's focus on the things that really bother me. It's like that should always be the fundamental first point that you try to protect. Like, point number one is like, can we prevent all of the horrors that happen when people start starving in the streets, etc. Like, that should be like step number one. That's why, like, even though we're in a pandemic, right? It's like, oh yeah, but also we'll make sure that people who deliver food, not deliver, like, like long distance trucking, supermarkets and stuff, like making sure those things stay open so that people can keep the basic necessities going, so we don't have to have a situation where because you honestly could, if you wanted to, if you just kept everyone indoors for X amount of time, if you let some number of people starve, fewer people would die. Actually, I don't know for sure. You'd have to do the maths, but fewer people would die from that starvation, but that would be like an imposed starvation. If you say, oh yeah, 2 weeks from now, no one goes outside at all. We're gonna lock the doors, etc., etc. Every, all the cases would fade out. All the ones who are too big could like have people come to them and like stay with them. If you isolated the hospitals, you isolate everyone inside where they are at one moment for 2 weeks. But then, downside to doing that, people starve, and they don't starve because, oh yeah, there was this thing. They starve because you allowed them to. You give them that. There's like the precedent that like, oh yeah, we can starve people if we think it's for the greater good. Yeah, when people die, it's not good. Wait, controversial opinion time. I think that people dying is not ideal. I would rather avoid it if I was given the option. So yeah, new video idea, US states explained through Minecraft. I like the idea a little bit. I don't think I think there's 50 states, so it's like too many, right? I could probably avoid like all the garbage states. Like no one's gonna be upset if I miss, like, no offense Delaware, but Delaware. No one's gonna be like, no, Toy Cat, you don't understand. But yeah, I try not to be too America centric with my stuff. I end up failing because I put my prices in dollars, for instance. But I try, and trying is half the battle. Breaking news: dying is bad. I mean, there is a good argument to be made that dying is a great thing. I'm not the one who's going to make it, but there is an argument to be made right there. Just started watching. What is he talking about? I'm talking about Minecraft. So how does this game work again? So you've got a pickaxe and you mine the blocks of it. If anyone joins, we're just talking about Minecraft. Okay, that's all we're talking about today. Do the 5 that Europeans know. There we go, Imjack. California, New York, Texas. Yeah, California, New York, Texas, and Florida. There's and maybe Alaska or Hawaii or something. Also, Shravia, Hey Toy Cat Sports in 1984. I think 1984 is a really clever book that you don't appreciate when you read in school, because like when the metaphors and stuff are told to you, you're like, I don't really believe it. But like once you start to like experience some of it, you're like, oh, okay then, that's real and that is scary. So I don't know why all of these torches are off. I guess I'm gonna just remove this here. Oh, this goes over here, not over there. But yeah, I really liked 1984 as a book when I really disliked it as a book when I read it, because it just seemed like some unrealistic dystopia. But little did I realize it was a somewhat realistic dystopia, and that's when I got sad. No, yeah, it's George Orwell. Like, I think 1984 actually isn't his best work. Like, I think Animal Farm is really good. I feel like he did an essay that's like it's not even like a paid thing. It's just he released it because he was really passionate one day, called like Notes on Nationalism, and it's like again it's literally just an essay he wrote, but he's a really good writer, and even though he's like a person I probably disagree with it at like a political level, the fact that he can like convince me of so much despite disagreeing with me, and the fact that he is so poignant and has been proven right so many times. Smart human being is what I'm trying to say. I like smart human beings. That's a good thing. Hey Toy Cat, how's it going? How are you? Says it's me, Pancake. I'm going pretty good. Thank you for asking, Mr. Pancake Man. I hope you're doing good as well. If you're not doing good, I hope you get better soon. And if you're not going to get better soon, then I hope you don't die in a house fire tonight, because that would be a real tragedy. It's honestly scary how close we get to 1984, not just in the US, around the same world, not even using the same ideology. I really don't think we are hitting 19... Like, again, I feel like more... We get closer and... Like, I don't think we're close now. I think we see a lot of people using the... Like... Okay, well, like, the idea of, like, redefining words and all the scary things we're doing. We're doing this all the time in, like, super ways we should be cautious of. And, like, yeah. But I think as far as, like, people wanting a boot that stamps on their face or, you know, whatever it is, I think you're mostly kind of okay. There's a good statement. Very, very strong, very bold. No, I think the world is not that level of broken yet. It might reach that level of broken one day, maybe not even too far away. But I feel pretty secure knowing that, like, I hope that we have a young generation that learns and perhaps, you know, votes or something. Because so again, whatever, we'll leave this for now. So we're heading towards a brave new world more than 1984. Yeah, I don't want to like dive into the whole like brave new world or 1984. Like, it's like one of those like dumb. It's such an over the top. Like, it's again they're both like they're like opposite valid dystopias, right? The truth is that the world is rarely one thing. The world is a very complex thing, in fact. And I don't think like any work of fiction is ever going to be perfectly accurate. Like there's this piece of like fiction, not fiction. There's this like whenever it's like you know the whole thing like, oh yeah, the Simpsons predicted it. The Simpsons can predict the future. Anyone rationally thinking is like, oh yeah, funny joke. But some people actually think like, oh yeah, the Simpsons just predict everything. It's like, well, when you have 31 seasons, you'll do some things that eventually come true. If you're not saying their predictions, if you're just throwing them out there as like fun joke, like if you make a joke about how in the future, like there's a few Black Mirror episodes that have become real, like they're not predictions of the future so much. I mean, maybe you could say they are. I feel like Black Mirror is a better crowd pitch technology, but long time no see, says Rosie Farrow. How have you been, Rosie? You know, it's with a Z. Rosie still feels so weird to say. Both great books to think about, though, says Jessica Forsyth. Yeah, exactly. Like they're both interesting to read. I whenever I get into discussion, it always gets like circle jerky about like and it's like this is exactly what I want to avoid. Speaking of things I want to avoid, ending this live stream, but sadly, despite the fact that I would like to, I cannot stop the fact that I am. I have a, obviously, so there's a video I've been working on because, like, the Nether update's coming real soon. The next time I stream will probably be when the Nether update releases, just as a heads up for all of you watching right now. But, but as a little, because a lot of people are like, so what's the Nether update again? Like, this, that. I figured, just to be handy, maybe what we do is, like, make a little video, explain all the small features. So, today, like, soonish, the plan is to a Z. You know, I'm sorry, a Z. There we go. I Americanized it for you. But I I figured like it'd be useful to make a video about all the smaller things coming in this update, so you can know like what actually is coming in 1.16. So yeah, that's gonna be coming out real soon, and I just wanted to give you a little self promo for it. Do you want to come be first? It'll be out in like 12 hours probably. Actually, you know what? I'll just release it right after this, or will I? Yeah, I will. As soon as the stream is done, actually, let's just release it. Into the wild we'll go. Any books you suggest reading, Toycat? A book I really enjoyed that helps you learn about why people think the way they do is called Thinking Fast and Slow. It's all about mental heuristics, which sounds dumb and boring on the surface. It sounds not worth spending your time on, but it makes you realize so many of the things that you do that you can't explain, it explains them. And I found that to be useful because also there was a lot of things where I was like, I didn't even think about that. But I do it, you know. There's a billion things like that, like how does the brain work? And it's kind of cool because I like the brain. I think the brain is the best part of the human. If you disagree, how about you fight me? But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed because I'll see you in a video coming out in literally 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And I'll see you on Tuesday in like 3 days for a 1.16 stream. It'll be a lot of fun. Or maybe it won't. It'll be one of the two things though. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. I didn't wear trousers today and I kept thinking about it every few minutes. So if you thought about it too, then you'll know for sure. And if you didn't, there's some details you didn't need to know. Speaking of details you don't need to know, this is no longer available. Yeah, I'm going to advertise it even though you can't buy it ever. There's never going to be one of these on sale again. Because I think it's cute. It's a little toy cat blush walking off the screen. Anyway, yeah. No, thank you for watching. Goodbye. You meant to leave when I say goodbye. That's what goodbye means. It means I'd like to end this conversation now. Get out of here. Just saying.